This is your host, Brent Sargeant. We are live. Well, we're from the weekend anyway. Sunday, have my coffee, had a shot of like some anti-inflammation, garlic. It was amazing. So we're going to go straight into it. I'm feeling hyped. I'm feeling like I'm going to let go and give you guys some real deal, real talk information. So I just posted for this specific podcast 3 things you can do to guarantee, and you know me, I never usually guarantee anything, but these are 3 things you can specifically do on LinkedIn that will increase your success. So I need you to sit back, get out a pen and paper, because it's really easy. Before you approach anyone on LinkedIn, before you send a message to invite them for a coffee chat, or ask them for guidance, or even ask them any question whatsoever, the first thing you should ask yourself. So these are 3 questions you ask yourself. The first question you ask yourself is, have I done the research myself? Could I answer the question I'm about to ask on my own? And for a lot of you, you haven't done that. When you're asking about what certifications should I take, have you looked into all the different certifications? Now, why this changes the approach is, instead of asking somebody, what certification should I take if I want to get into cryptocurrency or compliance or AML? If you've done your own research, you can say, well, I'm looking to start my AML career. I know ACAMS is the gold standard. I also know that ACFCS seems to cover a wider range of topics. Manchester CF goes into deep down detail when it comes to things like correspondent banking or antiques if I want to get into a niche area of financial crime compliance. That conversation now changes to the person that you're asking. They don't have to do work. They realize now that you've already done the research. You're the one asking the question, but you've already done the research. So now they can just give you their honest feedback based on that, right? When you say what certificates, for me, I have to go back. I usually have a link of the certificate post that I've already done, and I send them the link. And what worries that about me is that if you're looking to be in AML, if you're looking to get into financial crime and compliance, especially in the cryptocurrency space, resourcefulness is such a key skill. And by identifying the lack of resourcefulness already in the initial conversation, that would hurt any opportunities that person that you're asking would think like, hey, this is a really ambitious person. Let me help them out. Let me give them guidance. Versus this person is just asking for a general answer to a general question, and they could have done the research themselves, but they've chosen not to. They've chosen the easier route. They may be lazy because they don't want to do things for themselves. This is not necessarily the person that the majority of people that you're reaching out to are looking to hire. I go back into maybe my experience with this. I remember when I was teaching at SIFCA at Seneca College, I ran into a guy, Alex Cote. He was just asking, like, what are these certificates? I have a few. I just told him CBP. I didn't go into detail. I didn't explain to him what the course acronym stood for or who did the course. I said, CBP is a great starter course. Boom, the next week or 2 weeks later, he came back. He's like, I finished the CBP. He didn't ask, what's the website link? What's the URL? What do we need to sign up? Is this course going to get me A, B, or C if I take it? Attack. We have to be in complete offense, especially right now when I feel the majority of our industries is playing defense. We're going through a pandemic. Everyone's maybe a little bit more cautious or conservative because things are so unstable. You have to take the offensive in this situation in order to thrive during the situation and when the majority of this passes. So ask yourself, before you even ask somebody a question, is, can I answer this question myself? Have I done the research myself? Am I able to at least form some sort of an opinion? So when I ask the question, I'm asking them to give feedback based on what I've researched already. That will absolutely change your interactions. You'll see that more people are willing to help you. You will see that your engagement will go up because you're not expending the other person's energy. The person is not thinking for you at this stage. You've already thought, you've already come to a conclusion based on your research. This person could just add in a little salt, right? A little salt bay. They can just sprinkle on a little bit of their advice, their experience onto what you already have. That makes a good interaction. That makes the other person feel valued because you're coming to them and you've already done your research. So that is the first thing you should do. That's the first question you should ask, especially if you're an AML investigator. If you can't research courses to become an AML investigator, that's a really tough to think that the other person is going to give you any kind of opportunity or even think that you have critical thinking skills. On to the next one. Has this person already answered my question? This is huge. When you're asking questions, and I'll just use my experience, I produce a ton of content. I think it's valuable. I'm not expecting everyone to go through all my posts on LinkedIn, but when I'm producing content at a fairly rapid rate, and most of it is covering the basics of what certificates to take, what can you do to become a blockchain investigator, and you're asking me those questions, the first thing that triggers to me, and probably a majority of people that you're reaching out to, is this person doesn't even take the time to follow my content. They haven't done anything on their own, but now they're trying to extract time and energy from me. And once again, you're going to find some people just won't even respond to those questions, especially if they've answered it. I try to at least send you links or go to the links to my previous posts, but you have to take, if you want this person, especially if you're going to these people, most of them are going to be either the top people in the industry or people that you really think you could help you in the industry. Otherwise, why would you really be approaching them in the first place, right? You've given them some kind of, these people have something that they offer that you need, that you want, whether it's guidance, knowledge, referrals, doesn't matter. They have something you need. You have to be different than the 90% of other people going to these people. You think you're the only person asking them the questions, but more than likely, there's another 100 people within the month asking them similar or the exact same question. So how can you do something else different? Is you go spend a couple of hours listening to one of their podcasts, maybe reading some of their articles, maybe reading a book if they have one. Take the time and invest articles that they have on ACAMS or ACFCS or other places. Take the time and invest your time into their content. So now when you approach them, you're like, hey, I see on this podcast you said A, B, and C. I read in this article that you feel this way about A, B, C. I have a couple questions now based on what you've already written. Now, this is a direct. You've shown them the respect that you've actually engaged with their content. You've highlighted things from their content, so it shows that you've actually engaged in their content. And now it's a mutual conversation where they're adding maybe more context, more insights. Now they're more likely willing to help you because you've answered the question is, has this person provided the answer to what I needed to ask them in the first place? This is absolutely huge, especially for people that produce a lot of content. It takes so little time to go through their content, maybe a few hours when you're going for a walk, or, instead of applying to 50 jobs on LinkedIn, maybe take an hour and look into the person that you're trying to connect with his content and see, have they answered some of my questions, my frequently asked questions, and maybe I can add some insights or questions or give feedback to what they've written. That opens up a more mutual portal where they're willing to go back and forth with you, especially if you maybe go comment on their things or ask your question in their comments. A lot of people are posting on LinkedIn. If you have a question, take the time and highlight that question on their LinkedIn openly. And, so more people can create engagement. Maybe a lot of people have the same question you do. And instead of the person having to answer 5 or 6 different people, now they're answering it right there on their post. And it shows that you actually took the time to read their post. This is really huge. One thing I've noticed in interviews, specifically, people will say oh, I see that you had a podcast, but they can't give you any kind of context to anything from that podcast. They can't say, oh, I learned A, B, and C from the podcast, or I learned this from your article. This is a way to, if you're going to try to impress people, you have to impress them with actually doing the work. Last and final question you should be asking yourself before approaching anybody else is this going to be a mutually beneficial professional relationship? Meaning, am I just looking to draw information, draw energy, draw time for this person without giving them anything back into return? This is huge, right? Now, as I said, let's just say the top professionals in the industry, the Amber Scotts, the Peter Ward, the top of the tippity top professionals, the Lourdeses, the Liats in this industry, the Airy Redboards, they might have a finite amount of time to spend on LinkedIn, maybe an hour, right? And they're usually posting, maybe responding, maybe 2 hours if they're really, really creating content and responding to other people's content. Now, you trying to reach out to them and ask them for something is probably going to take them 3 to 5 minutes to either respond, think of a response, and engage with you. If there's 30, 40, 50 people reaching out to them, that is going to absolutely take up all their time. However, if you're different than everyone else that's simply asking for requests for themselves, stop being selfish on LinkedIn. I know you want the information. I know you want the job. I know you want, you want to know the salary range of the posts that people are making in regards to jobs. You want to know everything for you, but what have you done for the other person? Give value first. And I know what you're thinking. Well, Stephen, I don't have anything of value. I'm just starting out. You have a ton of value to give because you have your time. So you have your time that you can go back into everything that person's posted. You can leave comments. You can leave comments on their Medium articles or their posts that they do on LinkedIn or other social media. You have time to engage with that content and share it with your community. Are you at least doing that? Because then it's not even a mutual beneficial relationship. If people are just asking me for things and they've done nothing in advance, then the conversations are usually going to be short. I'm pretty good at responding to people, but I think everyone knows the people that are commenting, engaging in my YouTube, on my link, we've opened up a different relationship. It's more feedback going back and forth because they're providing me some value. They're engaging what I truly am like excited about, which is my own content, helping people. And I can give them information because I know that they're taking the time to add value. If you're not adding value, you have to be careful of asking people questions all the time. Now, I'm not saying don't ask any questions or don't connect with people, but if you change your mindset right now, think every time I go on LinkedIn, every time I reach out to somebody, is there something I can do to add value to them? That has to be your number one thing. Can I add value to this person? If you're not asking that question, then that means really you're just draining. The value bank account that me and Giles talked about in previous episodes. You're just taking from that bank account. You're not putting anything in. And therefore, the conversations that you have, you're going to find they're short. You're going to find that they don't really go anywhere because you're not adding value yourself. Add value first. It's super easy to do. You know what to do. But at the end of the day, a lot of you are looking for an easy answer. You're looking for the magic bullet. You're looking for that. Maybe if I ask this person randomly that they'll somehow have a job in my back pocket and they're going to give it to me and give me a chance. I'm going to get into those in later episodes. But that's it. 3 questions to ask before you reach out to anyone. 3 questions to ask yourself. 1, have I done the research myself? And could I answer this question on my own? 2, has the person already answered this question in previous content, podcasts, articles, etc.? 3, is this relationship going to be mutual beneficial? And can I give value to the other person instead of just extracting value from them? Ask yourself those 3 questions. If you're able to answer those 3 questions, I guarantee more success on LinkedIn and most likely in life. Hope you guys like this episode. Reach out to me, comments in the YouTube. You know where I am. YouTube, subscribe, do all those fun things. I have 48 subscribers. This is a really big deal for me. Just started out my YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys that are subscribing. Love the people that are commenting. And you guys know my DMs are always available for those people that give out value in return for the value I give. Appreciate you all. Talk soon.